Before 8 a.m. Good morning, Mix 1041, MixTV.tv. We say good morning to Matthew Coleman, who's and also my longtime friend Andy Lay, both Cleveland Board of Education members. How many state championships were you the quarterback? Was that one?
Well, no, it wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
Was
You're
not
like
me.
Peyton Manning. So it's like T. Martin, you know.
Next year. It started the next year.
But you set him up.
That's right. That's right. Built the foundation.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because okay, that's right. It was 93, 94, 95, wasn't it?
Yes.
So I guess I did. You were a senior and I was a freshman.
That's right.
So how much older are you? I mean, I'm
Did he beat up with you during those years?
yeah, oh yeah. I was properly hazed
was
by
a
all the
bully.
seniors. Oh, yeah. All right, so I want to go to Matthew Coleman. By the way, this segment, the Logan Thompson Law Firm turns over their segment once a month to review the Cleveland Board of Education meeting. And Matt, I'll turn things over to you. How'd it go last night?
It was fun. We were talking. It was a little bit late, and I appreciate you getting us in a little early this morning because we're going to go over to Stewart School here in a few minutes. And you know, each month we get to view one of the schools and do a little walkthrough and chat. And because of the snow schedules, what was supposed to be last week is now this week. And so Kim Bradford came and talked to us. So we'll highlight a little bit of that. But it was a great meeting, and we had a retreat immediately prior to the meeting, and so we got to get into some things and dig into some numbers real quick. We did do the director review last night, and that's part of our annual review of the board of the director of schools, and you know, he had scored about a 3.63 out of 4. Which is a good score, and I think it also reflects there's always room for growth. There's always room for improvement that we want to continue to see, and I think that's something the board has emphasized over the years. We have a great school in so many areas, and as Bob Pritchard says, somebody's got to be the best. Why not us? Let's talk about the wrestling programs a little bit. We hit on athletics there, and I mean, you know, and my brother Danny's up there watching it, and he's giving me the scores and kind of rolling through that. But the scores didn't really reflect the level of dominance with those wrestling programs. And even though the final scores leading up to that championship were, you know, 42 to 46 or something of that nature, it was 42-0. And then they forfeited the rest of the matches, or 46-0. I mean, once they got to the point that they could win, they just forfeited the rest of the matches to get to that next level. And that's for the boys and the girls. It was just absolute dominance. And in the finals, again, they just did so well. So the boys have 9 consecutive state championships. The girls have 3 consecutive state championships. And we're expecting that just to continue. And what really impresses me so much, coming back from when we were in school, is just the character of these young men and women. When you see them off the mat, they are just good people, and they're good kids, and they're volunteering for these things, and that is just a reflection of the leadership, and we want that pushed through all of our athletic programs. We want the coaches to develop programs in football and soccer and softball, everywhere where these kids are just continuing to thrive on and off the field. We also represented talked about our unified bowling team. They won their first state championship last night. It's the first year they've done that, and we've had a program. And those kids got honored, and just the smiles on their faces and what they were able to accomplish there. Go ahead. I'm taking all this thunder up, and let me have Andy.
Yeah, Andy, what'd you make of
One more for wrestling. The middle school was recognized last month, and they're going to be honored by at the next city council meeting. Moving on to another spotlight. Back to talking about Stewart and Principal Kim Bradford's presentation. A lot of great things going on at Stewart. Making achievements in academics. A lot of talk about the community involvement at Stewart. You know, gave different statistics about that.
Well, Kim's doing a great job.
Doing a great job.
She's wonderful.
Doing a great job. Chronic absenteeism down 5% from the prior year, so a lot of good things going on there.
Yeah, and Stewart's one of our smaller schools, but it's also one that has one of the larger ESL populations in there. And so we talked about those challenges, but also how they're thriving. We use across the board for K through 12 or K through 8 a system called iReady, and that provides us data and growth. You may have seen it with your kids, and you get those little charts of kind of where they sit and where their growth is. And we did this in the retreat, and we also looked at this a little bit with Stuart specifically, and it's just demonstrating great growth in both math and ELA. And of course, we attribute that. Get your kids to school and they learn. And so when the attendance goes better, when you have these parent involvements, they talked about engage, inspire, empower. They're doing service. They're bringing the kids on the weekends and the families on the weekends to beautify their school and teaching them about community service, which obviously is something that Logan Thompson really, really thrives in. We had the Public Education Foundation come give their annual review to the board. Lori McNulty, one of the attorneys in our office, is the executive or the vice president there of the executive committee, and then Lynn Bowles jumped in. But this is a $12.1 million private financial partnership. Last year, this year alone, I think it was this year alone, $277,000 to the city school system alone. A little over double that went to the county in this CTE programs, welding, Tango Flight, telemedicine, playgrounds, teacher grants. We talked about our lead fellows, and I know your wife was one of the lead fellows last year.
Yes.
And I didn't really fully understand this, but this is a one-year professional development program for emerging school leaders. These are typically teachers that are in there that have been identified as folks that are going to grow into the leadership roles within them. And they spend this year, they go to various programs, they have great speakers come in. It's fairly intense, it's involved. But at the end, when they come out on the backside of that, they're coming back to those schools and just transforming them. And so many of the schools in both the city and the county were represented by there. I think each one has one person there. Talk about transportation a little.
So the strategic plan focuses on transportation. Mr. Hal Taylor gave a presentation on that and talked about the buses. 34 bus routes covering over 1,700 miles per day. Cameras in each bus. We started the dash cameras last month. 39 violations reported in just that short period of time. So they use routing software that notifies parents, if the bus is going to be running late or, keeps track of where the kids are. So it's a very important piece in the whole education system.
I believe we're going to be joined by Dr. Elliott and Hal Taylor tomorrow to talk more about that. This is the new bus patrol program, I believe.
That's
is that
correct.
Right?
It is, and Andy doesn't take enough credit for what he does. He is the chairman of the facilities committee and oversees that, and has for a couple of years now, and does a wonderful job making sure those programs are running smoothly. But when you look at the safety, that to me, we talk about things like school being out one day or school being out half a day. Okay, we're doing 1,700 miles a day in buses, and you start adding fuel, you start adding insurance, you start adding the wear and tear on that, and then you look at these violations that went out. I read some of the Facebook posts when we popped this out. We are the first school in the state of Tennessee to even enact this program. Wow. And you've got some parents saying, why are you giving a 30-day grace period, or why are you doing this? Well, let's cheer us on for really taking this broad step to try to curb some of the safety issues that are out there. But there's 10 buses and 39 violations in 6 days. You and I joked a couple of years ago when we talked about this, or maybe it was last year. I remember when I got yelled at by a school bus driver for pulling up too close at 17, 18 years old, and they just stopped the bus, got out, and gave me a scolding in my little car. I really think I'm looking forward to this really changing the safety, because we've seen those videos on social media where these cars are flying by, and it's amazing we've not had any injuries to our students. But what a great program that they've enacted. They've got cameras on the buses, looking at the insides of the buses as well, and you know, dash cameras and rear cameras, because there's, you know, in my world, you know, people change their stories once an impact happens, and those cameras are just really vital for our safety, for our concerns. And so it's been great, and I just applaud Andy here for chairing that committee, putting the time in to make sure these things are moving smoothly. And Hal Taylor, of course, is he's the one that's putting in the sweat every day. And Valerie Mack, she talked to you, remember Valerie was in there yesterday and really hit some of the facts on that. So it's great. It's a great day to be a Raider. It's we got, it was a school board appreciation week, so we all got a bag of swag. And
there we go.
I got home last night and kind of went through it. My kids are all saying, well, I want this. And no, you know, my wife's stealing the paper, and I'm like, this one's mine. And, you know, we had a fight.
It was very nice.
But it has been one of the greatest honors of my life to be involved in the school board and give back to that community. I know I speak for Andy as well and all the board members as they come up. So it's a great thing. Thank you.
All right. Matthew Coleman and Andy Lay, Cleveland Board of Education. Again, thanks so much, Logan Thompson Law Firm. They take a sponsored segment they do each week, but they turn it over once a month to review of the Cleveland Board of Education meeting. Tell my alma mater, George R. Stewart, I said hello, and they probably still have some terrible remnants of me. But
they've got that picture on the wall. It may be the arrest picture, but
it was. Actually, it was the first arrest.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes.
All right, guys, thanks. It's 12 before 8. Hey, by the way, visit LoganThompsonLaw.com. I guarantee you they have an attorney for whatever situation you may be facing.